office with Senator Bernie Sanders. He joins us live in the Vermont newsroom this evening. Senator Sanders, thanks so much for coming in tonight.
Good to be with you, Bridget.
All right, so let's get right to it. Let's talk a little bit about the budget. The plan in front of the Senate right now, or the plan in front of the Senate yesterday, would have cut spending and kept the government going, but you did vote against it. We've been talking about it all evening, calling it Robin Hood in reverse. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, Bridget, in America today, the wealthiest people are doing phenomenally well. We have very profitable corporations who are paying absolutely nothing in taxes. Meanwhile, the middle class is disappearing and poverty is increasing. So to come up with a deficit reduction program which says we're going to cut Pell Grants, we're going to cut community health centers, we're going to cut nutrition programs for pregnant women, we're going to cut the environmental protection, we're going to cut in many, many programs which impact the lives of the middle class and working families, but we're going to give huge tax breaks to the wealthiest people in this country and not ask them to contribute 1 cent in deficit reduction. So that to me is Robin Hood reverse. You're taking from struggling working families and you're giving that money to the wealthiest people in this country. That's wrong. We need a shared sacrifice in addressing deficit reduction. Everybody has got to play a role, not just working families.
Certainly a catchy phrase there. Thank you for that. And spending cuts are always a touchy issue. And how do you get the nation's debt under control if you're not willing to make those cuts?
Well, I think you do have to make some cuts. I'm not arguing that. For example, I think you have a military budget which has tripled since 1997. I think you got weapon systems there that are not designed to fight international terrorism, but the old Soviet Union. I think you got waste in a lot of government agencies which should be cut. But at the same time, Bridget, you are losing, we as a nation are losing about $100 billion a year in revenue because large corporations and very wealthy people are stashing and sheltering their money in tax havens in the Cayman Islands or in Bermuda. That's wrong. Second of all, I think we have all recently heard that many of the largest corporations in this country that make huge profits either pay nothing in taxes or in some cases actually get a rebate from the IRS. Thirdly, it is, to my mind, and the President made this point the other day, just absurd that we continue to extend tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country whose tax rates have gone down very substantially and are now doing very well. So my point, Bridget, is you need shared sacrifice. Yeah, you do need to make cuts. But on the other hand, when the wealthy are getting wealthier and large corporations are doing very, very well, they have also got to contribute and play a role in deficit reduction.
Yeah, and you can see how budgets can be a divisive issue as well. I think a lot of voters feel very much like the recent budget debates have set Democrats and Republicans against each other again. Do you think they'll be able to compromise in Washington soon?
Well, I think what you should understand and all the viewers should understand is that what was just passed yesterday is for the 2011 budget. As soon as we get back to Washington, we begin the 2012 budget. And that is going to be a very, very contentious issue because what the Republicans are proposing is to do away with Medicare as we understand it and force senior citizens to pay a lot more for their health care, to make massive cuts to Medicaid, which will result in millions more Americans not having any health insurance. And then in the middle of all this, they want to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the wealthiest people in this country. That is a proposal that I strongly am opposed to, as I think the vast majority of the American people are. So I think you're going to see a lot of a very significant debate over that.
Well, thank you so much for coming in tonight, Senator Sanders. We really appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, Bridget.